Hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you watched my last video, then you know I am trying something new for the year 2020. Every month, I'm going to be completing a different teacher challenge, which really means I'm going to be challenging myself to try something new for that month. It's basically a way for me to try out different habits related to teaching and figure out what works best for me. I am vlogging the entire month and I'm sharing it with you in a single video at the end of the month where I reflect on my feelings and whether I enjoyed it or not. For the month of January, my challenge is to leave school every single day when my students leave, and any of you who used to watch my vlogs knows that that's a challenge for me. I've always been the teacher staying until 6, 7 o'clock at night, so I am forcing myself for the entire month of January to leave by 4:15, which my students leave by 4:10 every single day. If you want to know how it's going, you'll have to wait until the end of the month. But what I am going to do for you today is share a productivity tip that I personally use to be able to help myself leave when my students are leaving. I am a huge fan of lists. Like, I can make a list of all the reasons I love lists. And in addition to your typical to-do list, I also really love checklists, especially checklists that I can use again and again and again. I have worked to develop a before-school checklist and an after-school checklist that have made my life so much easier. I'm going to show you step by step how to create these checklists so that you can also maximize your time. The program that I use to create my checklist is called Google Keep. I love it for two reasons. Number one, it's free, and free is my favorite number. And number two, you can view it on your browser, on your computer, along with an app on your phone, and you can even access it on your Apple Watch if you have one of those. I personally access it the most on my computer, so I'm going to show you what the view looks like on there. Now, this is currently my Google Drive. You all have seen this before. I have a video about how I organize it. It is my pride and joy. But what I really love about Google Drive, and really any of the Google apps, if you're in Google Docs or Google Slides, is that you have this handy dandy little sidebar. Now, if yours is not showing, just click the little arrow down at the bottom and it will pop out or back in. You have on here your Google Calendar, Google Keep, and Google Tasks. Google Keep is this little yellow icon with the light bulb on it. So if you click on Google Keep, it will go ahead and pop it out and you can view your checklist right there. Or if you want to view it full screen, you can actually click on this little arrow up here to open it in a new tab. Google Keep is essentially a collection of notes, but within those notes, you are able to utilize checkboxes, which is how we're going to make our checklist. You know, checkboxes, checklists. So in order to create my checklist, and we're going to start with my before school checklist, I'm going to click in Take a Note. I then have a title box, so I like to put in before school checklist. You can get super fancy and actually add an image and make it look super cute, but personally, I'm using this to save me time, so I'm not gonna waste time making it look super cute. I'm fine just having my title in all caps and I'm ready to go. Then I'm gonna click in Take a Note. In order to add the checkboxes, I'm gonna come down to these three little dots. It's the More button, and then I'm going to click on Show Checkboxes. That way, every line item that I add will automatically have a checkbox. Here is what I do before school. That way I make sure I'm completely ready for the day. One of the first things I do when I walk into my classroom in the morning is I take out any things that I put in my book bag from home. Maybe I needed to bring some type of a picture book for a lesson, or maybe I brought papers that I printed out at home. Whatever it is, I need to get those items out of my book bag. So I'm gonna add the item of get items out of book bag. I keep it very general, that way whatever it is I'm getting out of my book bag, I can just use the same thing every single day. The next two things I do are review my schedule and review my materials for the day. That way, in case my schedule is different, I'm not gonna miss anything, and I make sure that I have all of my materials ready to go. The next thing I do is open my slides and websites on my computer. That way, I'm ready to go for the day and I'm not fumbling around to try to open things and have it not open. Super embarrassing. I like to have it all ready to go on my desktop. Then I go through and write objectives on the board. I check my email. I check my mailbox up in the front office, and I eat my breakfast. That is my favorite time of the morning. So now you can see that all of these items have a checkbox next to them. So as I complete them in the morning, I can just click and it will move it down to the bottom, cross it out, that way I know that it's done. So let me go ahead and just cross all of these off so that you can see what it looks like when it's done. I can go in if I have something specific that morning and I can add that item in there, but typically this is just the same checklist that I use every single morning regardless. What I love about Google Keep is that once you have checked off all of your items on the list, you can easily uncheck them all with this single click of a button. So after my morning routine is done and I've completed all the items, in order to reset it for the next day, I'm going to click on that More button again and I'm going to select Uncheck All Items. That has reset it, and now I can use that same checklist the next morning and it will save me so much time. Because I don't know about you, but I'm very forgetful in the morning, so I definitely need a list to remind me. But if I don't have a list, then I'm fumbling around trying to remember what I'm supposed to do, and having it all written down is just so much easier. Now we're gonna get a little bit fancier, okay? You are able to color code your checklist, which I love color coding, so you know I'm gonna do that. Personally, when I think of morning, I think of the color yellow because the sun is yellow. So I'm gonna change the color of this checklist to yellow. I'm gonna come down to the change color icon and I'm going to select yellow. It will change the entire checklist background to the color yellow. And then I'm gonna pin it so that it always stays at the top of my Google Keep. If you're anything like me, once you start using Google Keep, you'll start saving everything in there and it can get very cluttered. So I like to pin my most important notes to the top. So in order to do that, I just click the pin note button and then it will stay up at the top of my Google Keep. So let's go through the steps one more time as I create my after school checklist. I'm gonna go ahead and close this note by clicking the close button, and I'm gonna click back under take a note. This time I'm gonna title it After School Checklist. I'm gonna click in take a note and I'm gonna click the more button and I'm going to select show checkboxes, and now I'm gonna start typing in the items that are part of my checklist. One of the first things I do is turn off my projector and document camera. Then I will clean out my personal mailbox. This is my mailbox that sits by my desk that students put notes and things into, so I like to go through it at the end of the day. Then I will put away extra copies that are just laying out and cluttering my desk because I do not like to leave my desk a mess. So my next item is to clean off my desk. Then I will go through and collect papers in the turn-in bin. That way I have them in my grade drawer ready to go, or I can file them away, do whatever I need to do with them. And finally, I will lay out my materials for the next day. That way in the morning, I can just quickly check them over and I'm ready to go. I'm also gonna color code this one. Now, when I think of my afternoon, I think of the color green because green means go, and it is then go time to go to the gym, go home, get stuff done, all that. So I'm gonna change the color to this bright green color, and I'm going to click the pin button at the top so it stays at the top, and then click close. Now, because I made my after school checklist second, it has put it in front of my before school checklist, but I always go from left to right, so I want to switch the order. I'm just gonna click and drag my before school checklist and move it over to the left. You could totally fancy this up. You can add in reminders. You can do whatever you need to do to make it work for you, but this is the basic way that I make my checklist. Now, I am gonna show you one last thing that I think is very helpful. If I go back to my Google Drive, I had previously mentioned that I can view it over here on the sidebar. And for me, that's so handy because Google Drive is open on my computer at all times. So it's really nice just to be able to pop out that sidebar, use that checklist in the morning, check it off as I go, but then I can still see the rest of my drive. Now, I did mention that you can also access this on the app on your phone, or if you have an Apple Watch, you can access it on there as well. So let me just quickly show you what that looks like. On my phone, I just open up the Google Keep app. I will see my notes already there. I can quickly check them off. Same thing for my Apple Watch. I love having it on my Apple Watch because as I'm walking around the classroom and completing these items, I can just turn over my wrist, check them off, and then I'm good to go. I don't have to walk back to my computer. Again, it just saves a little bit of time. So that is it. That is how I utilize checklists to help me save time so that I can leave right when my students leave. I really hope you all enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you. please give it a thumbs up if it was. Also, leave a comment down below because I would love to know if you are just discovering Google Keep for the first time, what your thoughts are, or if you are a Google Keep Pro, I would love to know what else you use it for. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.